Hi there, I have here the SCRAPERITE SRT33 GPO and also the SCRAPERITE SRT33 PRO plastic scraper kit. I bought these instead of using the metal razor blade scrapers that I have. The SCRAPERITE scrapers use blades that are made of plastic of different composition to handle different substances, different surface hardness, different solvents, different types of surfaces. Two main benefits of these plastic scrapers is that one, it is safer to use with less risk of injuring myself, and secondly, also less risk of damaging the surface that I will be working on. I didn't realize that there were plastic scrapers, and this brand product looks like there has been a fair bit of engineering gone into design and manufacture of the product. Correct selection of the blade to use depends on the substance to be scraped off, on the solvent that will be applied, as well as the type of surface that will be worked on. Join me in this video as I unpack this product and do a simple test to show how it works. So I have here on the left the SCRAPERITE SRT33 PRO product, and on the right this is the SCRAPERITE SRT33 GPO product. Each product kit contains 3 square edge blades and 3 curved edge blades. The handle tool on both kits are the same. They are the SRT168. The difference between these two combo kits is in the blades that are supplied. On the left, there are the magenta colored blades. The product code is PRO. On the right, there are the orange colored blades. The code is GPO for the orange colored blades. This is a packet of 30 square edge magenta blades. The code is SRS30 PRO. And this is a packet of 30 magenta curved edge blades, and the code is SRC30 PRO. So I distinguish between the square edge blade versus the curved edge blade by the third letter of the product code, C versus S. On this side, this is a pack of 100 orange square edge blades. The code is SRS100 GPO. And here are 2 packets of 30 blades of SRC30 GPO blades. The company SCRAPERITE designs and manufactures these products with one mission in mind, and that is to replace every unnecessary metal razor blade in homes and workplaces with SCRAPERITE plastic scrapers. Two main benefits of the plastic blades versus metal razor blades is, firstly, it provides much less risk of the human operator injuring themselves compared to a metal razor blade. And secondly, a plastic blade is less likely to damage the surface being worked on compared to a metal blade. This blade holder tool is called the Tradesman SRT168. The length of the tool from the back to the front of the tool is 168 millimeters. And the width of the tool is 45 millimeters. SCRAPERITE manufactured 2 other models of blade holders. The smallest one is the Tradesman Dwarf. Its length is 63 millimeters and its width is also 45 millimeters. And the third and biggest blade holder is the Tradesman W410. That tool has a length of 168 millimeters, same as the SRT168. However, the width is much bigger. It has a width of 105 millimeters. In terms of the shape of the blade for the Dwarf as well as the SRT168 holder, there are 2 shapes. There's the rectangular blade with right angle corners. The width of the blade is 40 millimeters and the depth of the blade is 18 millimeters. Then there is the curved blade. The width is 40 millimeters and the widest depth is 28 millimeters. Then there is the type of material composition of the blade. The orange blade with the code name GPO is intended for home and automotive work. The magenta colored blade, code name PRO, is intended for DIY and professional trades. I do not have here 3 other colored blades. There is the blue, codename MBL, is designed for marine applications. Fourth, there is the black, codename BIN, B-I-N. It is a specialty blade. Fifth and lastly, there's the yellow blade, codename HYL. It is also a specialty blade. Where these 5 different colored blades differ is in 2 characteristics: the degree of blade hardness as well as the degree of chemical resistance. The orange blade has very high chemical resistance, similar to the magenta colored blade. However, the orange blade is softest in terms of its blade hardness, whereas the magenta blade is hard. The other 3 colors, the blue color sits in the middle of chemical resistance and blade hardness. The black blade has slightly less chemical resistance than the magenta and orange blade, and it also sits between the magenta and orange blade in terms of hardness. The yellow blade has the highest blade hardness and is the most rigid but also more brittle. It has the least resistance to chemicals. Hence I chose these 2 colored blades because they have the highest chemical resistance, and at the same time they provide me a wide range in blade hardness. The SCRAPERITE website has more detailed information that explains the characteristics of these different colored blades and their intended uses. I suggest you look up their website for more technical details. So this is the SRT33 GPO. SRT refers to the blade holder. 33 refers to the combo pack of 3 curved blades and 3 square edge blades. GPO refers to the orange colored blade material. On the back of this package, it shows a small set of the chemical solvents that this blade can be used with. It also says that the edge is a soft edge, pliability of the blade is soft, and the abrasion level is low. So looking at this information helps guide where and when to use this colored blade. I'll open the packet. It's very simple. There we are. And in the packet, as I say, there's 3 square edge blades and there's 2 curved blades because there's 1 curved blade installed on the holder. To remove the blade, it's very simple. Press down with the thumb, it slightly ejects the blade, and then just pull to remove the blade. If this front scraping edge is worn out from use, turn it around and then use the second edge. Insert it in the tool holder between the 2 slots with the flat edge facing down. Push it in and it clicks into place. This product has the code SRS100 GPO. SRS means the square edge blade. 100 means there's 100 blades in this packet. GPO refers to the orange colored blade. I'll remove the curved blade and replace it with the square edge blade. Slide the blade between the 2 slots. It's installed. On these sturdy blade packets, I can just open them up. I can remove plastic spacer, and let us say that I have a used blade that needs to be discarded. It's too worn to be reused. Then I can slide the blade in here at the rear, and in readiness I can slot a new blade there for quick pickup. But to be frank, I find that very troublesome. It's so much easier for me just to open the lid and pick one up from the front and put one discarded one in the rear. So I don't find that this 2 slot feature useful. This is the SRS100 GPO packet. There is a slot in front for new blades, but there is no second slot in the rear, so it's different. But as I said, I don't find this feature useful, or just easier to open this up. To test the effectiveness of the SCRAPERITE scrapers and their blades, I have here a glass plate that I've cleaned with isopropyl alcohol. I will apply heavy duty 3M double-sided tape as well as rubber glue to the plate. Let it dry for a few days and then use the SCRAPERITE tool to try and remove the glue and double-sided tape. Now to let it dry for a few days. I applied these 3 days ago, so now this glue is very hard. What I aim to do is use the orange GPO blade on this left hand side and the magenta PRO blade on the right hand side and compare their effectiveness. I have sprayed isopropyl alcohol to soften the glue. The instructions say to hold the tool at about 25 to 30 degrees. I would say this is now about 45 degrees. So 25 to 30 degrees I'm guessing is about here. And I've installed the straight edge. We'll test it on this tape. Excellent, that's come off completely. Just a point of use, the square edge blade can sometimes be a problem if the angle is not held correctly and ends up that the right angle edge digs into the surface being worked on. And this is the function of curved edge blade, so that there is no 90-degree corner to dig into the surface. Now I'll work on the Sally's quick grip glue. Oh, well, there you go. Easy. Much easier than I thought. But I guess that is because this is glass. If there's another surface, it may be harder. And to complete the demonstration, I have here the magenta colored blade. I've sprayed isopropyl alcohol on these two patches and we'll start scraping. There was a little bit of glue remnant here. I'm just scraping that out. That's good. Same thing for the quick grip glue. Easy. I'm pleased with the product. In the following video, I demonstrate using the PRO blade to remove remnant double-sided tape adhesive from my truck windshield. This is because I removed the faulty old dashcam camera from the windshield in order to install a new dashcam, and you can see that video in the link here. I'm in my truck at the moment. This is the old dashcam I have. The dashcam is now faulty and not powering up. I pulled the camera mounting plate off, but some of the remnant adhesive is still on the windshield. I use isopropyl alcohol to spray and dissolve it. Here I have the SCRAPERITE tool. I have the SRC Pro blade installed and we'll use it to scrape the remnants off. Seems to be working very well. I think the blade's done a very good job of removing that leftover adhesive. I'm happy with it. Well, I do hope you found this video useful and interesting. What started me thinking of looking for plastic-based high-quality scrapers is that I intend to remove the intake manifold of my diesel truck and also to remove the rocker cover and replace the fuel injectors. So I will be scraping oily soot, and so I want a scraping blade that isn't metal based because I don't want it to scratch and damage the surfaces. That's what led me to SCRAPERITE products, because they seem to be a well engineered product. I hope you do find this video useful and interesting. Do hit the like button and subscribe to my channel for more and help the channel grow. Thank you so much.